What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in. Tonight it's just me, the Quirky Queen, solo, as the lioness is now at the hospital with her daughter, about to become a grand lioness. So we are sending all of our thoughts and prayers to them and praying for a healthy baby boy and a healthy delivery. And we'll keep you guys posted on that as things progress. So tonight is just us, right? We got this. And yes, the star is covered. We're going to get to that in a little bit as we are going to talk about my toxic relationship with the Jerry Jones and where we are this week with that. We're going to talk about that Cowboys and Bears game that I'm still recovering from. And then we're going to get into next week's game against the Packers coming up. So y'all know me as the Quirky Queen. I'm Chi-Town born and bred, Texas fed, right? So anytime that the Dallas Cowboys plays the Chicago Bears, it is like a slew of emotions going on between family, friends, so on and so forth. So listen, during this game, I'm already knowing my family is just going to be down on me, like back and forth, because as much as I love the Chicago Bears and my Chicago teams, when the Cowboys play the Bears and my family, I am not allowed to root for the Bears because no, they're like, no, you can't do that, especially while I have anything Cowboys on. And I get that. I understand it. And honestly, like my family is like during the season, I'm not family. So I kind of just deal with it and I take it on the chin. But this time, my daddy did the daggone thing because all throughout this game, my daddy kept texting me and trolling me all throughout the game. And mind you, any other time, this would not happen because we're talking about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. We're not okay. So let's get into it. What I mean by that, because Caleb Williams cooked. Okay, cooked. 298 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And if I'm not mistaken, this is like one of the first games that he had an interception or a daggone sack. Are you kidding me? What does that say about our defense? But then here comes Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, a daggone 65-yard bomb downfield to Luther Burden. Y'all, a dagger. Now, did Dak perform? Yes, he did. He had 2 interceptions this game. He was 31 of 40, 251 yards, and a touchdown. He had the 2 interceptions, costly mistakes. We give him that. No quarterback in the league is perfect. So don't y'all get on here talking about my quarterback because the game wasn't on him. Now, the CeeDee Lamb injury, that was definitely costly for the Dallas Cowboys. Because if you pay attention, the play that CeeDee Lamb got injured on, y'all, a running play. Did we hand off the ball to CeeDee Lamb just for him to get rolled up on? Why is CeeDee Lamb back there? Why? There's no reason. CeeDee Lamb, he's not a running back. He's not a running back. He's not built like a running back. He doesn't do running back things. He's supposed to be a wide receiver. He's supposed to be downfield catching those passes. Why are we handing the ball off to him? And then it was so stupid. We are not Dan Campbell in the Lions doing crazy offensive schemes and trick plays and stuff. That is not us. That is not us. We stick to regular football, regular offensive schemes. We run ball first. If we have to have the ball in the air, we do that. Why all of a sudden you want to hand the ball off to daggone CeeDee, our number one receiver at that? Y'all. Is there any way, shape, or form, any reason under the sun for CeeDee Lamb to be carrying the ball? There's no reason whatsoever. So that right there ticked me off, because now he's going to be out for a few weeks. Unnecessary. And that's also, it's a coaching thing. So that, of course, you know, anytime it's a coaching issue, it goes back to our puppet master, my toxic relationship with Jerry Jones. Anyhow, so at the end of the day, Chicago outperformed us in all aspects of situational football. I'm talking about third down conversions, red zone efficiency. Y'all, they even got us on a daggone 2-minute drill. Like, how? So at the end of the day, they exposed us. That's what it was. They exposed us. they beat us with the details, right? So at the end of the day, that situation frustrates me for multiple reasons. And I want y'all to chime in on my thoughts about this, because we don't normally see Caleb Williams or the Bears offense perform to this extent, right? So at the end of the day, this is my take on it, because it made me come up with this idea, this thought that I have, because here we are where I am kind of looking at the Dallas Cowboys like, oh, we are a team of magicians, apparently, right? Because what's vexing me here is that we consistently make average quarterbacks look like legends just for them to vanish the very next week. So case in point, buckle in. Russell Wilson with the Giants last week versus us, the Dallas Cowboys. He looked like vintage Russell Wilson. 30 of 41. He had 450 daggone yards and 3 touchdowns. He was dropping bombs left and freaking right? But then this very next week, now all of a sudden, the Giants are benching him for a rookie. Jackson Dart will be starting. So how do you go from dropping 450 yards passing to being benched for a rookie the very next week? So then there was Caleb Williams. And now, mind you, I know it was only week 3 and we're going into week 4, but the rest of the games this season, he's been under pressure. They've lost games. He's been battling sacks. Did he have to battle sacks with us? No, he had all of the time in the world in the pocket. This was a crazy stat that in this game, on 22 of 28 pass attempts, the receivers had at least 3 yards of separation. What? Three yards of separation from the defense? We're talking about our secondary. Y'all, what is going on with our defense? Like, it's non-existent. So to look at these situations where Caleb Williams has not had all of this time in the pocket. He's not been able to throw the ball down the field like this consistently for 4 quarters in a whole game. He hasn't. Not until he played the daggone Dallas Cowboys. So with this pattern, it's like, it shows me, yes, clearly our defense, especially the secondary and the pass rush, is just done for. Like, we need to completely start over, rehash some stuff. But of course, you know, Jerry Jones, right? So the consistency here with these quarterbacks, with what we show them, it makes us look like a very inconsistent team. It makes us look like a poorly coached team. It makes us look like a very undisciplined team, because we also had a crap load of penalties and stuff in this game. So what does it say about these particular quarterbacks? Does it say more about these quarterbacks, or does it say more about the Dallas Cowboys and our coaching and our defense? because these things continuously happen. This is not the first season that this has happened. Y'all saw last season this happened too. And again, it's not just the quarterbacks, it's the receivers, because Malik Neighbors, he racked it up in yards on us. It's also with the run. Now this season, we haven't had a whole bunch of people rushing up and down the field on us, but at the same time, we still can't defend anything. So I don't know if I don't really know what that is, because if Russell Wilson and Caleb Williams, they only shine when they face us. Y'all see where I'm going, where I'm getting, because what is this? Because it's not them being great. It's more so us not playing up to our potential. So that leads me to, my toxic relationship with the Jerry Jones, because it's frustrating for me to have had these last few weeks. Y'all know the first week I was ticked off at Jerry Jones because he left us outside on that watch party that he threw at the stadium. Ticked off at him. So, we're beefing or whatever. But then the next week, it was like I took a little piece of the tape off and exposed the star a little bit because we got Jadeveon Clowney. And I'm like, okay, but that was the equivalent of me receiving some flowers after some abusive stuff. So then this week 3, we covered it back up because why? What is going on? There's I told y'all last week, if Dallas went into Chicago and got mollywopped, I was going to completely cover up this star, which I did. Because there was no reason under the sun we should have lost that game. So Jerry Jones, come to the forefront, because we need to have a conversation again, as we do every week. But here's the deal. Like, my gripe with Jerry Jones this week is a lot about this comment about we are a playoff team. Are you gaslighting us? Because in real life, like, you can't hype me up and tell me like we're a playoff team after we just got mollywopped by the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams leading them. Stop gaslighting me, because that's abusive too. Jerry Jones, this tape is going to continue to cover the star if you don't get it together, because you are the master puppeteer around these parts, and it got to come from the top on down, because it's not the players on the field. They're not calling the plays. And Brian Schottenheimer, we're giving him a chance. We don't know. So that's another thing too, y'all, because while Jerry Jones is like this with the puppet strings, did Matt Eberflus, our defensive coordinator, who we hired after he did he get fired from Chicago last season? He did. And we just showed Chicago, or he just showed Chicago, like they made the right decision. They made the right decision to fire Matt Eberflus. And here we go, picking up the trash and taking it on home, and then embarrassing ourselves, going back to Chicago with their former head coach as our defensive coordinator, and our defense just be non-existent. Jerry Jones, stop gaslighting me. Everybody knows it's not the points that win championships. Defense, that is across a lot of different sports. Most sports, defense is what's going to win championships. We have no defense. We have none. It is non-existent. That is on you as the GM, the owner, the coach, everybody else in the front office, and all of the stuff in between. You're doing everything but suiting up and going on the field. And so at this point, it's like it's not just that, because it's also going into this game next week with the daggone Packers, who, of course, they have our number one pass rusher who we don't have no more, Michael Parsons. And Micah is just like, yeah, Dak is going to be painful. And here is Jerry Jones. How he responds to that is like, yeah, we love to be competitive, so this is just gonna fuel us. Like, you don't poke the bear, or in this situation, the Packer. You don't do that. You don't do that. And then to make matters worse, to make matters worse, what he did was say he was not going to do a tribute video for Michael Parsons. Now, when other players leave their team and they get traded or whatever the case is, and then they come back to that home team, that home team kind of embraces them, honors them. Jerry Jones is like, no, I ain't doing that. Jerry, why? For what? The thing is, you could make a 2-minute tribute video and at least like ease it up a little bit. But the fact that you're like, no tribute video, you have washed your hands of Michael Parsons. Like, Michael Parsons is not an enemy of the Dallas Cowboy fans. We don't want Michael Parsons beef with Dak. Imagine as the official Dak ambassador, how I'm gonna feel knowing Jerry Jones has spoken all of this mess and caused all of this drama, and all he's doing is poking Michael Parsons. Every tweet, every interview, every comment. Here you go. And on top of that, no daggone tribute video, and you think he's not about to have Dak laid out? Jerry, do better. We would like more accountability from you. We want truth. We want consistency. We don't want just the hype. I don't want the flowers that they died the next day. I don't want that. I want something that's going to be long lasting. Things that are long lasting, like, shiny trophies, Super Bowl trophies. I feel like you have forgotten what that looks and feels like, because it's been so long, and here we are trying to stick it out with you, but this tape is going to stay until you get it together. So, y'all, we're going to see what happens after this week with the Packers. So, looking ahead, Michael Parsons coming into Dallas next week or this week. And listen, we already are down CD Lamb. Trayvon Diggs is limited. So there's a lot of things that we have to consider, because our secondary and our pass rushing is crappy. So Jordan Love, we know he has multiple weapons, so that's no good for us. I mean, their number one tight end, Tucker Kraft, is currently injured, but he still may play. They still have Romeo Doubs. They still got a run game. So what do we need to do to win? Protect Dak at all costs. We need Dak on his feet. We need Dak with a clear view of the field. We don't need him on his back. Protect him. O-line, this is where you got to step up, because Michael Parsons is going to be salivating, trying to get back at Jerry Jones, and it don't have nothing to do with Dak or anybody else on the Cowboys roster. This is solely his beef with Jerry Jones, and I get that. What else needs to happen? We have to somehow contain Michael Parsons. And at this point, we got to sacrifice something. So do we have to double team him? Yes. Do what we have to do to make sure that we can at least stay on top of things with our points. Okay, because our defense ain't gonna do nothing. So we need our offense to hold us up. And that means that our offense has to be able to score. That can't score if he's looking at the sky from his back on the field. Okay. All right. And then so the other part about this is that the Packers O-line is banged up. We got to find a way to exploit that. And then we just need to do better in our situational football, just like how we needed to do better in this game with the Bears last week. Red zone, third downs, turnovers. We have to do better in those things. So at this point, let's see what happens, because if we get mollywopped by the daggone Packers again, which mind you, the Packers have kind of been like our Achilles heel. They have knocked us out of the playoffs multiple times with and without Aaron Rodgers. When they had Aaron Rodgers, he was beating us up on one leg. They traded Aaron Rodgers and then got Jordan Love, and we still haven't been able to beat them. And what's crazy about that, we couldn't beat them with their Super Bowl winning coach, Mike McCarthy. Why is it that every single time one of our coaches that we got from another team, when they play their former team, why do we always get mollywopped? Why do we always get our butts whooped? Make it make sense. So in the event that the Packers jack us up like that again, I might be cutting a star out of my stuff. I might be. I might be, because I'm that ticked off. And I'm irritated with the whole Packers. Like, why would you trade our number one pass rusher, the best player that we had on defense? Why would you trade him to a team in the NFC and to a team who consistently jacks us up? Why would you do that? Because you are Jerry Jones. So y'all, listen, next week, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be throwing another funeral. I don't know if I'm just going to be cutting stars out of all of my Cowboy stuff. I don't know what this is going to look like, because at the end of the day, I had a crazy thought that just maybe we could beat the Packers. And then I was like, I don't know about that, especially without CeeDee Lamb, and especially with our defense just looking as terrible as they do. I want to have hope, but I don't think I do. And I think this is one of the first seasons I just have not had hope. That's a daggone shame, but that's the truth. That's my truth. So that's what I have right now this week, especially since we don't have our Lioness here with us to go back and forth with some of these conversations, because I do have lots and lots of conversations. I definitely want to talk about Lamar Jackson. You know, the Ravens played the Lions this week, Monday Night Football, and they just weren't able to pull it out. And I keep hearing, this was Lamar's MVP season. Is it? Because he's lost 2 huge games already. And then what is Derrick Henry doing? Derrick Henry was running for 200 yards a game last season. I don't know what's going on this season, but he's not the only running back that hasn't been showing up, because Saquon Barkley too. So yes, I have lots and lots of questions for the Lioness when she comes back. Lots of questions for you guys. I definitely want to talk more about Lamar Jackson in this MVP season, and if these major losses and him not being able to finish out big games with comparable teams. What does that say about him and his legacy and why they can't finish these games? And then talking more about going into other things too, like the Philadelphia Eagles and the fact that we haven't really seen Saquon Barkley do much this season. And if Jalen Hurts were on another team, would we still give him all of the credit that we give him for being as good as the stats say that he is? I want to talk about it. So when she gets back, hopefully next week she'll be back and we'll talk more. If not, you guys will get to see me again, and we're just going to roll with it. We're just going to keep rolling with it. And thank you guys so much for kicking it with me tonight on our little mini Dope Sports Chick session. Thank you so much. Again, Keeps the Dale and her baby girl, her grandson, and her son-in-law, to keep them all in your prayers and send good vibes and stuff their way. And we will see you guys next week, 8:30 Wednesday night. Like, share, subscribe to our YouTube. We will be coming out with some more content, you guys. We love you guys. Thank you for supporting us.